Today we are going to start unit number 3 about service quality management. In first unit we discussed about service sector management, introductory part of this particular subject. Unit number 2 we discussed IT, ITS sector, insurance, banking, IRDA. In unit number 3 we are now discussing about service quality management. When we see what the services are, quality is very important because quality is actually the parameter on the basis of which we can compare, we can analyze, we can give a feedback about whether the customer is being satisfied or not. So these things are very important. Evaluating the services and whether the services are offered as per the quality parameters or not. So service quality management is a unit, number 3rd unit of our syllabus, is where we are focusing how we should give services to the customers, how we should reach to them, how the services need to be compared, how the services should be evaluated, how the feedback should be recorded, and how we should improve the service and the customer satisfaction level. So in this entire unit we are seeing the various angles, dimensions of service quality management. The first point with which we are starting this unit is key principles of total quality management. Total quality management is actually we are not, it is not specific to any sector. It is applicable to each and every sector which we had covered or which are actually a sector in services. So how that service sector should be managed, how the policy should be implemented, what dimension should be noticed or to be kept in mind while delivering the services to the customers are very important part, and this has to be taken in mind at the time of offering the services to the customers. So I just mentioned here 7 points which are the part of total quality management. We can call it as the principles of total quality management, which are actually the base of service quality management. The first one is, naturally it is related to the management, to the bodies, to the persons who are responsible for running that particular sector or business, or that controlling that environment. Management, commitment and strong leadership, because everything starts from that one. If the leadership, if the management of that particular sector, of that business is not capable enough to run that business, or not capable enough to take the decisions, or not capable enough to take a decision at the right time, then it will be very problematic for that particular business to run or to compete with other businesses. So it is very important to focus on what we need and what we don't. Means when we are actually differentiate those things, okay, this is our priority, this is not, this is our need, this is not, then in that case it is very important, then it will be very important for that leadership to decide these things, and then it will show the fruits to that particular business in coming time, in near time. So the first principle is management, commitment and strong leadership. Management should be very committed to their job, to their work, to their role. They should know what they want to do and what they don't want, and they should have that strong leadership. Means if there is any problem, then they should come forward and try to solve the problem. It is not like that they are sitting in the chairs and just ordering the people to solve that problem, then it will be very problematic. So it is very important to see what are the problems, what are the challenges, what will be the opportunities, and to work accordingly with those things is very important. That's why I just mentioned here the first principle is management, commitment and strong leadership. This is the first basic principle of total quality management. The second one is employee empowerment. after the management, the next most important part of that environment or that business will be the employee, because whatever management is deciding, what the policies of management is formulating, that policies has to be implemented with the help of employee. Management can't do that because they are just there to prepare the policies, that policies to be implemented, how to be implemented, who is actually working on that particular field, on that particular day, on that particular time, is the responsibility of employee. So employee empowerment is very important. Now what is empowerment? Empowerment is a very vast word, but we can say when you are actually enriching your employee with the help of training, with the help of remuneration, with the help of financial backup, with the help of what we can say the technology, those things is a part of employee empowerment. And nowadays it is very important to empower your employee with the advent of latest technology, providing them necessary infrastructure, financial backup, then insurance backup. These are the very important things. So it's just not that they are with you for 8 hours or whatever time they have, but it is your responsibility as a management or a leadership that you should take care of your employee. So if you are expecting good from them, then it is the responsibility of employer to provide whatever they needed, which is required for running that business, or what we can say, covering their goals, or getting that particular destination, reaching to that particular destination, or achieving the targets. If these are the requirements, then employer should provide employee whatever we needed, which are needed for the targets. So these are the very important thing, and this is a part of employee empowerment. The third point is fact-based decision making. So when we talk about a leadership, the most important part of them is to make the decisions, to take the decisions. So decision making is a very important thing. And decision making is at a right time, at a right place, is also very important. Means if you are taking a decision which has to be there or taken at 2 days earlier, to previous 2 days earlier, and now you are taking that decision right now, then it won't have that effect. So decision making should be at a right time, at a right place, and it should have to be taken keeping in mind the entire things which can happen with the help of that decision. So it should not be just a one-way decision making. It has to be multi-directional, multi-dimensional. Necessary stakeholders should be engaged, should be incorporated in that particular decision making process. And after having these things in a place, then we can say that that decision making will be a right place, or at and actually a right activity for that management, because they are doing it at a right time and right place. So fact-based decision making should be there. So this is about a decision making. But what about fact-based? Fact-based means it should be supported with the facts. It should be supported with the evidences. That, for example, if a management is taking decision that there is no need of training to the employees, but if they are taking this decision, then they should be what we can say ready enough for any consequences which happens in future, because they are not providing the training to the employee, and even they expect that the employee should be capable enough to handle that machines, or handle that softwares or hardware, whatever it is. So if you are expecting from your employees that they should be capable of working in that particular way, then it is a responsibility of a management or a leadership or an employer that those employees should have that training which is needed for running that type of or doing that type of work. So these things are very important. This is should be a fact-based decision making. It's just not like that what you are thinking and just you are taking a decisions and you are not asking anyone, and as you are seeing yourself as only boss of that particular business, then it will be okay for that particular time. People will just listen to you, but the targets, but the results which you are expecting as a boss might not get completed because of your autocratic nature. So this is the third principle, that the decision making should be a fact based decision making. The fourth one is a continuous improvement. That point we can write at the last number, but We just wrote it in between continuous improvement, because look, whatever we are thinking, we are discussing here is a continuous thing, and everyone needs continuous improvement. No one is here who is a perfect one. In every sector and every businesses, every person needs a continuous improvement, because there are new challenges, new opportunities, new threats, new weaknesses, and all those where you needs a continuous improvement. So just think of big businesses, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, or Reliance, and the people who are running these businesses, they also think that there is always a space for continuous improvement, maybe in a decision making, maybe in a implementation of decisions, maybe in a infrastructure, maybe in a technology, maybe in administration, maybe in a human resource management. So there are a lot of spaces, lot of places where there is a need of continuous improvement. So the basic and the key principle of total quality management is that there is always a room for continuous improvement. You can't say that okay, this is a perfect, there is no need. After some time you will find that there is a need of improvement. So the fourth point is a continuous improvement. The fifth one is a process approach. Process approach means for that particular task, for that particular work, for that particular process, your approach should be distinct, your approach should be innovative, your approach should be specific to that particular work. You just can't implement or just use that particular way of thinking to another work, because every work needs a different style of thinking, different style of implementation of your decisions. So for example, if you are just going through one particular task, might be your approach for that task will be different. You just can't use that task, work approach task to another, because maybe the needs will be different, the technology will be different, the infrastructure will be different, the human resource will be different, maybe the quality of human resource will be different. So approach should be process specific, work specific, task specific. We can just explain these things with the example of, for example, if you are dealing with a staff which is actually clerical staff, and if you are dealing with a managerial level staff, and one work is being assigned to clerical staff and one work is assigned to managerial level staff. So you just can't handle these two way of works at us with the same policy, with the same skills, because maybe clerical staff needs that type of simplification of work which is not needed by managerial level. The skills which are required for managerial level skills maybe higher than the work which is assigned to clerical staff. So clerical staff level and manager staff level and their works and their tasks will be totally different. So you just have to handle their work and here work and this work in a different way, in a different style, in a different manner. So this thing is called as a process approach. So when we talk about a total quality management work should be a specific, process specific, task specific, or that particular work specific, and it is always advisable for any kind of leadership or management that they shouldn't mix everything. It is always good that everything is being distinguished, everything should be differentiated, and just handle those things in a separate way, in a separate manner. That can be always a good thing to achieve the targets. Otherwise, if you are mixing everything, then it just can't work. It will create another problems, and then you just get mismatch with all those things. So this is a very important thing, that approach should be process specific. The sixth key principle on which the total quality management depends is a value creation. Value creation means actually one type of creation of a brand, creation of a value, creation of an image. Value you can take it in terms of numbers or money, or you can take it as a goodwill, you can take it as a brand, you can take it as an image. So up to certain time, okay, you are okay with the money which you are getting from that particular product or services, but after some time you think that now it is a time to create a value of that particular product. It is a time to create a brand value of that particular product. It is a time to create a image of that particular product, because otherwise you are just having a money from that particular product or services. There is no need to do the advertisement. We are just seeing in our day-to-day life, there are a lot of products. we use, but there is no need to advertise those products, because uh, all those already those products are being branded products, they have their image, they are established products, so there is no need to do the advertisement. So how this happens, it happens in a that particular time span. Initial days they do the advertisement, they did the advertisement, they focused on marketing. Now the people started or knew their product, that this is a product, and we people are started using that particular product, they are consistently using that product. So there is no need for that particular manufacturer or the company which is manufacturing that product to advertise it, because they don't need to spend extra money on advertisement, because already that product is an established product. Why? Because they had created the value of that particular product as a brand value or an image, which is now is completely there in the mind of consumer or customer. This is called as a value creation, but value creation takes a time. It is not like that just you had introduced a product, you entered in a market and value is being created. Value will be created when you are actually delivering a quality. After delivering a quality, after a good customer feedback, then that particular value will be created. That's why we are talking about a total quality management, because when you are talking about a quality, it is always against quantity, because quality needs your focus, quantity needs the manufacturing in a larger quantity. So it's a very important thing to that initial days it will not be that much easy, but after some time manufacturer or a management or a leadership should think that how they are going to enrich their product, how the value of that particular product or a brand value of that product should be increased. The last point that we need to discuss here is a customer focus. So whatever you are doing here, it should be for customers, because ultimately the most important thing is a customer satisfaction, because everything ends there. When you are talking about a feedback, or when you just receive a feedback for consumer or customer, the most important thing is that whatever you are doing, what efforts you are doing, what planning you are doing, the most important thing is that the customer should be satisfied. So if he is or she is not satisfied, it means that whatever you start from A to Z, or whatever did from A to Z, something is missing. So as a leadership or as a management, you have to find out that missing link and just try to improve, because always this is a continuous improvement thing. So it is a good thing, good practice for that particular management to find that missing link, to analyze the things that how they are just why they are wrong, why they got a feedback from customers that they are not satisfied. If that feedback is a descriptive in a descriptive way, then you have to find out where the things goes wrong, where that consumer feels that your service is not good for at this particular point, at this particular level. So as a leadership, as a management should think that we can improve, and they should have to chalk out the policies how they are going to improve the things. So ultimately it is the entire discussion we can just sum up in like that it is about a total quality management. Total quality management means right from first to last you have to concentrate on each and every aspect of delivering the services, because in first and second unit we talked about different sectors. Now onwards for third and fourth unit we are discussing about delivering the services, to the consumers, because it's very important that everything you have everything okay, but if you are not reaching to the consumers, if your consumers are not happy, then whatever technology you have, whatever infrastructure you have, how skilled labors you have, it is not important for that particular business, because the person for whom you are doing these things is not happy. So ultimately the most important thing is that everything should be customer focused, and what customer thinks, what he wants is the most important part of that particular business or for that particular service sector. So these are the key principles of total quality management on which this the concept depends. I hope you understand this point, This is also one of the important question considering the examination. It will be asked for 16 marks. In next lecture, we will see the next point which is related to this unit. Thank you very much.